on such short notice today. We will go through, we'll start down here at the end, and I'll have everyone introduce themselves so everyone knows who's sitting at the table with us.
Russ Zimmerman, County Commissioner.
Scott Miller, County Commissioner.
Charles Schwoko, County Commissioner.
Gary Overmeyer, Lee Riley Township Trustee.
Bethany Brown, Health Commissioner, Sandusky County.
Okay, so I'm sure all of you were probably on the press release yesterday that we sent out letting everyone know that we have been working with Vickery Environmental closely throughout this process. We did have the opportunity to meet with them again this morning just to talk through exactly making sure everyone's on the same page of keeping our residents here in Sandusky County safe with what they are taking in. So Vickery Environmental was selected to be one of the contracts that Norfolk Southern entered into over the East Palestine derailment. Due to our longstanding working relationship, both us and Sandusky County Public Health and Vickery Environmental, it's been an easy transition in information sharing back and forth between the county and the facility. Right now at this point, Vickery Environmental is receiving 3 to 4 loads per day. They are coming in on 5,500 gallon tankers. They're only taking the overflow water during business hours, so there's no after hours sort of deliveries being made of any sort. We know that was a concern. I do want to talk on, though, the overflow water. I want to make sure that everyone that's in our viewing areas completely understands what overflow water is. Overflow water is the firefighter foam water. So it's from the firefighters fighting the fire on the train derailment. It's the water that they're putting on the fire that could be mixed with their foam, and it then lands on the fire, goes on the ground and surface water. So what Vickery is actually taking is any water that was pulled from the actual overflow, what we call overflow water, as well as they are also taking ground and surface water. They started taking deliveries last week. With that being said, their deliveries have still been averaging 3 to 4 a day. They didn't go up, they didn't go down. However, what did go raise up was the water quantity. So in the initial overflow water they were taking in, averaged at 92% water rate, with any chemicals that might have been mixed in were actually a very minute residual amount. The last couple of days they have been averaging on a 98% rate of water content. So the majority of everything that's on the tankers coming in from East Palestine to Vickery Environmental right now is 98% water. So the concern that we know that our residents and others have had about it coming from East Palestine here, it's water, and everyone needs to consider it as such. It is placarded, though, under 3082 in an emergency guidebook, so if anyone has never seen one, this is what it is. You can also find it online. 3082 is just a basic placard. It's considered an other substance placard. And it just means that it could be some metallics or metals, as well as any possible foam residual could be mixed in with that water, which is why they decided to placard it 3082. At this point, it's still going through their well injection process. Vickery Environmental has been well injecting for 45 plus years. This is what they do on an everyday basis, and this is their job. This is their business. They've been operating in Sandusky County. They are overseen by Ohio EPA and permitted by them, and have had no incidents that I'm aware of since the 80s. So at this point, everything for them as well as Ohio EPA, they are within complete good standing. The injection wells average approximately 2,900 feet below ground surface, and it was looked at by geologists as well as Ohio EPA permitting inspectors, and was determined that it's way below any sort of surface drinking water accessibility. So on that aspect, it's was deemed safe by, like I said, both geologists and the EPA inspectors. They will continue to receive overflow ground and surface water to assist East Palestine in this cleanup process for Norfolk Southern as long as it's deemed necessary. They feel that they are truly helping East Palestine because this overflow water has to go somewhere. Someone has to take it. And this is what they do every day. This is the business they operate in. So they really want to help not only just the individuals of East Palestine to get these out of their area, but to get them taken care of in a safe manner that it also doesn't affect anyone in Sandusky County either. At this point, I know during our last meeting with them, which was shortly before we called the press conference, neither myself nor Health Commissioner Brown have any concerns on the ability or what Vickery Environmental is doing to assist both East Palestine and to make sure that our residents are safe in Sandusky County. So with that, we will open it up if anyone has any questions that they would like to address to anyone on the panel.
So explain to us a little bit about what Vickery Environmental does. This might be the first time some folks are ever even hearing about this company. Give us a little bit more what they do, how they operate, and how they work with the county.
Okay, so Vickery Environmental actually hosts a yearly event where myself, the fire chief for the jurisdiction, law enforcement being the sheriff, and then county commissioners, any elected officials can actually go out there. They kind of walk us through and show us the system. Everything from if they're taking in like a pickling acid. This is how the process it comes in. This is how it's processed through. They go through their own formulas. They have their own chemists on site in determining in what well, what should be injected, how far down does it need to go. They walk through that whole process with us on a yearly basis. It gives us the ability to always know how they're operating over there, but they also want to make sure that they're being very clear with everyone in Sandusky County that they are operating to the permitting Ohio EPA standards in a safe manner that disposes of the very particular hazardous waste they're allowed to take, in addition to making sure we all understand to be able to keep the residents best informed.
We've heard a lot about vinyl chloride in the last couple of weeks now. How much, or if any, vinyl chloride, to your understanding, is coming here?
My understanding is there's no vinyl chloride coming here.
Okay.
Their facility is not built to take straight chemicals. So anything that would be pumped off of an actual rail car or was maybe held up in a containment pond, if it is truly just a chemical, they couldn't take it at Vickery Environmental. Their facility is not meant for that. It's meant for like groundwater sewer runoff that could have maybe trace amounts of chemicals in it, pickling acids. It's meant for things like that. It is not meant for a straight chemical like vinyl chloride.
So is there any concern that as the firefighters are fighting it, while they use their water and use their foam on the tanker car, then any of the vinyl chloride gets into that mix?
It could. I mean, that is always a possibility. Right now at this point, if there's been any vinyl chloride actually in any of the ground or surface water that they've taken in at Vickery, it's actually been very minute. Their chemists actually go through an entire formula process when things come in. That's how they know what their water rate is. That's why they know what their residual foam rate is. That's how they're making those determinations, is by their chemistry and continually checking the pH balance, because the pH balance down in the injection wells is also what allows them to keep taking what they can take at what rates.
So is that how they're getting it to that 98% that you were mentioning?
Well, it's coming in on the tankers at 98%.
Oh, it comes in that way.
It's coming in. It's primarily water
yeah.
coming in right now. So
But they test every load.
They test every load coming in.
And who determines that before it gets on the tanker? Somebody on the ground in East Palestine?
At East, well, it's easy to determine. My understanding is Ohio EPA is determining if it's considered within their permitting regulations. Is it groundwater, surface water, or overflow water? If it falls in any of those three categories, then Vickery Environmental is permitted to take the load.
So there's like a crossing guard per se from Ohio EPA saying it can go here, there, and there?
Yeah, my understanding was, in the beginning, Ohio EPA gave lists of vendors to Norfolk Southern and said, these are the vendors that could take your ground surface and overflow water. These are your vendors that can take chemicals. These are your vendors that can take like solid waste ground removal. And then it's up to Norfolk Southern as a privatary business to select what vendor they would like to go with.
Have they talked about what's in that other 2% in that liquid they've been transporting here?
They said it's just a minute mixture. They said it's primarily been the firefighter foam is what they found.
Most of the chemical issues was burn off, removed when the tankers burnt, right? When the fire.
That's my understanding.
That's what I understood. Yeah.
Is there any belief that the residents should have been informed sooner that the chemicals were coming here?
So I mean, we received notification, like I said last week, that they had entered. They were one of the selected to enter into a contract with Norfolk Southern. I wish that I personally, but I mean, we could all Monday morning quarterback. I personally wish that we maybe would have had a couple of days sooner to know when the loads were going to start. That way we could have just done a little bit more educational outreach to our residents, just to let them know that primarily what was coming was going to be mostly water, and there really wasn't any reason to be concerned.
I think the information, when it started coming our direction as commissioners, we thought all the chemical was coming to Sandusky County. That's what we were hearing through the grapevine. We weren't told directly.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where the misconception was coming into the county, that we were getting all of the chemical. We didn't realize we were getting the residue water at the end to help this all out. So.
Is it like normal to get notifications from this plant of the chemicals they're receiving on a regular basis, or?
No, but our office here at Sandusky County EMA does get anything that falls either on a category list of an unusual transport, which is what this situation would fall under, which would be an unusual transport. It would be something unusual outside the normal means of Vickery Environmental's everyday business, or we receive notifications when there's extremely hazardous chemicals, such as like radiological material coming through the county. That gives me the opportunity to brief our first responders and other emergency responders in the county to make sure everyone understands date, time, location, and route. So we can respond if an accident was to happen. While we're all responding, we all know what we're responding to.
And you talk about how there are chemists on site.
Mhm.
Talk about this is what they do for a living. This is what they've done for
Mhm.
decades. Do they also do testing of this liquid once it's received their facility, and what does that testing typically look like?
I don't know how their testing process works. My understanding is that they test every load, though, as it's coming in, just to get the understanding makeup of down to the minute percentages of how much of it is this or how much of it is that.
So even on their end, it's only been 2% of a
Yes.
minute mixture?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
They have several wells at Vickery Environmental. I don't know how many wells do
They have
have?
four
Four
class
wells.
ones.
And based on the chemical makeup, when the trucks show up and they do the testing before they unload, and then it goes into holding tanks, and then they test it and decide what well they may inject it.
So when you mention radiological in different situations, does that mean they're day in, day out that even more hazardous stuff than East Palestine is coming through here?
Well, they don't take radiological material. I was just using that as to answer the question, do I get notification when things come through?
So do they get more hazardous things
Yeah.
on a day in, day out basis than
What they're getting now? Yes, they
So
do.
that might have happened a month ago, 6 months ago, 12 months ago, and nobody in the community would have even known.
Correct.
But you guys would have been aware if it was something serious.
I mean, we know the normal things. They have their normal list of items that they take, that they're under contract to take. We don't know who their contract vendors are, but we do know, anyone can look it up. It's right on their website on these are what is considered a hazardous chemical that they take on a daily basis.
So if we didn't see the pictures and the black cloud
Correct.
if this was just a load coming from East Palestine, Ohio, nobody would bat an eye. Is that
Correct.
accurate?
You are correct.
Okay.
You are correct. I feel like the situation with the train derailment in East Palestine was horribly tragic, but I think it's been eye-opening. I think a lot of people had no idea at any point what traveled on rails, what kind of chemicals are actually going on the highways every day until this train derailment happened. And now, right now, the news crews, no offense, but that's what they're carrying. It doesn't matter if it's here, if it's in Michigan, Texas, California, Oklahoma. If it's a train derailment, if it's any sort of a hazmat chemical spill, it's getting carried on the news right now. So I think it's really been very eye-opening for individuals to just truly see the amount of chemicals that get carted across the country on any given day.
I guess I'll ask the panel in general, did it open anyone's eyes to worry about what's going through Sandusky County to anybody there, that maybe it was rethinking what we need to watch out for, what people need to be aware of?
Well, absolutely. We're all citizens. We all live here. We have family here. And we all have concerns of what anybody would have along a railway or highway. Of course, those type of chemicals that are being transported are the result of consumption, consumers. So those chemicals have to go somewhere. But if they transport through the communities the way they're supposed to in a safe manner, then we're all happy and content. It's when we have difficulties through traffic accidents and other issues that the chemical releases itself from the containment it's in, and then it creates a problem. So from that standpoint, yes, it's enlightened me and the other commissioners to make sure, through the help of Lisa, who keeps us well informed, to be on top of that.
And we do so Sandusky County EMA does a commodity flow study every 4 years. 2023 is going to be, this is our 4th year, so we're up for renewal for that. That gives us the ability to know what's coming on our rails and what's coming on all of our different highways and infrastructure, and from a chemical standpoint. Gives us a generalized, both so we know, but also so we can plan. And that we're not having to be reactive, because we can already pre-plan for what is coming through. And it helps us be able to keep everyone that's on the roads and the people that live here or just come here to work every day much safer.
Anything else you want to add before we wrap it up?
No, I think we're all good. Thank you, everyone, for
Thank you.
coming
Thank
today.
you.
We
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Thank you. You did a nice job with your press release yesterday.
Good job.
Thanks.
Well said, yeah. Good job, Sean.
Someday.
Yeah.